Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday, and that particular song does go on for a little bit longer, but I thought I would jump in and surprise you. So, hello everybody in that live chat room, and, we just had a little bit of loading there going on. Obviously, that even YouTube wasn't ready for that start that I just did. So hello to you guys in the live chat room. Let's see who's in there tonight. We have Tammy, Bob, Pamela, Daisy, Cindy, Lucy, Vera, Morris, Anna, Debbie, Ed sees something. I was going through too quickly now, so I'm gonna have to jump down a little bit. We've got Kathy, Laura in there as well, and Billy, Lucy, Cheryl, Roe, Last Our Day, and True Stories of Classic Rock. So, hello, thank you for joining me on this Tuesday night. I hope you guys had a good Monday, if that's at all possible, and that you had a good weekend as well. So, with tonight's live stream, I'm going to get this mentioned early on because we're going to be aiming for a new record of likes on a Tuesday night live stream, and it's going to be 495 that we're going to aim for. And I know that's a huge number, but that's just what it is. It is what it is. That's the number that we haven't hit yet. Last time we did 490. So now 495 is what we are aiming for. So if I get that up on screen, we will have Phil Jam number 144. If we hit that target, it's a huge target, and it means that on Saturday, because we hit the target on Saturday for 495, it means that we will be aiming for the big 500 this Saturday. So tune in for that live stream. And yeah, that will be happening. Whether we hit 495. Oh, Rose says it's Tuesday. Did I just say something different? I'm sure I said Tuesday. I said I hope you had a good Monday and that the weekend went well. Or maybe, did I click on the wrong button? I don't know. Somebody, maybe Rose answering somebody else. I do not know. As I know it's Tuesday. As far as I'm aware, it is definitely Tuesday today. Because I've done Tuesday things. I'm not sure if that refers to me, but anyway. Vera says, no, you're fine, Phil. So obviously it isn't something that I mentioned or didn't mention or said by accident. So that's all good. Thank you for that clarification. It is possible for me to click on the wrong button, and that happens thankfully not too often, but I've put the Saturday intro and the Tuesday intro right next to each other on the software. So yeah, it's literally about that far. If I were to miss the mouse, we would be jumping into the wrong live stream. But anyway, let's get the names of my patrons up on screen. Let's get everything organised because they make this possible in the first place. A massive shout out to you lovely people. At the bottom of the screen, regular viewers will know that their names go across the bottom of the screen throughout all of the live streams because they're the reason that I can do these live streams and the analysis videos and all the cover videos that I've done in the past and all that kind of stuff. So yes, thank you guys for all of your support. And let's have a plug of not only the mug but the merch because I have on the Wings of Pegasus t-shirt tonight. Unbelievably, I haven't worn it in a while, or it tends to work out on days that I don't make a video or don't do a live stream because I have the days where I do admin. I call them admin days, where obviously I'm wearing a t-shirt that you can't see because you're not looking at me. And yeah, the Wings of Pegasus one hasn't been on a live stream in a while. But anyway, if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, including the t-shirt or the hoodie or the mug, then you can do. There's a tray underneath this video. Click on any of those items. But then also, if there isn't a tray underneath this video, you can click on the link in the description below, and that will take you through to the spring.com store. So, Julesy said, did you sleep through your haircut appointment? So thank you for that. And eagle-eyed viewers among you will see that I can see that my hair is now no longer in my eyes or over my eyes. So, yeah. I did wake up for my haircut, and the reason that I think sleeping's being referred to because I did the update on Patreon last night at, I think, about 5:15 in the morning, and I said on there that I have to get up earlier than normal because I got a haircut. So yeah, it was just a little bit later that I was then getting up, but I did make it. And this time I did say to the hairdresser that I think it's probably a better idea for us to go with cutting it less and potentially then needing more haircuts rather than cutting it too much and, you know, my fringe kind of being up here and looking a little bit ridiculous. Because this is the problem with my hair. As soon as it gets wet and then I dry it, because it's quite curly, it just bounces up a ridiculous height. But I think we've just about got it right at the moment. It's about eyebrow level, which I think is, well, certainly the desired height and length for a fringe or any hair that's going to fall down. I don't like having lots of gaps, you know, between my eyebrows and my hair, having lots of, you know, like having the center parting. I'm not a big fan of that, hence why I try to avoid that at all costs. But sometimes, yeah, it does, especially in lockdown where you couldn't go out to get a haircut. There was some serious center parting styles going on there. But anyway, let's move on from that. Let's get the donations tab up on screen as well. Oh, and the likeometer to see where we are at with our monumental mission for tonight of trying to hit 495 likes. I can see that we are at 238 so far. So that is not bad at all. 255, or 256. That's a number that my brain has just thrown out there. I don't know whether that would have been correct as to the likes that we need, but if that was indeed correct, it means that we're, almost halfway. So, closing in on 250 likes. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you could hit that thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated. We're going for a ridiculous record of 495 tonight, and we will see how we get on with that and whether we bust out the guitar to have a fill jam a little bit later on. It all depends on hitting that target, so we will see. Right, now, this is the point at which I say that you don't have to donate. For those people watching, I do put that up on screen that, yeah, you don't have to donate. But for those people that can't resist it, between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. So just having the knowledge of the percentages, where your money goes, I think is very important if you can't resist donating. But like I said, you don't have to donate. Just watching, hitting that thumbs up is even better. Introducing yourself, as I always say, in that live chat room is great as well, so that, yeah, we'll get to know each other and I get to see your usernames. And if you're a Facebook user, you can head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. Join in there. If you've got any pictures of yourself modeling some merch, then you can upload a picture and then Laura will link me to it and I'll show it on the live streams. We have no picture corner tonight, so it means that it frees up a little bit more time. Do we have a troll corner? That is a good question. I can't remember, and I don't think I've made a note of any troll type comments recently, but at some point maybe I can have, if we jump into the cover video, that's the other thing, there's a cover video going on, or at least a vote going on for a cover video later on. The Boys Are Back in Town has 52% of the vote so far, and it's between that and Parisian Walkways. And Parisian Walkways, I think, has been requested quite a lot recently, maybe over the last few weeks, but it's never quite made it to winning. And at the moment, it's in second place behind The Boys Are Back in Town. So whichever one of those covers you want to hear, obviously it's going to be my version of either of those songs. Click on that at the top of the live chat room. So we will be jumping into the donations because I can see there have been a few in there. Paul donated $5, so thank you for that, Paul. And the message was, wow, another 1,000 subscribers since Saturday. We are now at 382,000 subscribers. Let's have fun tonight and spike those likes. All y'all rock. So thank you for that, Paul, and for reminding me, I think I changed this. Yes, we are now up to 382,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for subscribing, as well as commenting on the videos, hitting the thumbs up, doing all the cool stuff. And yeah, it's a huge number. We'll keep on pushing forward, as I always say, and we'll see where we end up. But let's stop this and stop everybody cheering. So thank you for that, Paul. And Karen has donated $10, and Karen says, AI, a fake documentary, voice of Tom Cruise, Olympics has fallen to attack games by Russia, the IOC athletes, tourist, payment tickets, Paris, infrastructure, because can't compete as Russia. I've got no idea what that's all about, but thank you for that, Karen, for the donation anyway. And Orlando has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, my first live stream in a week. Spike the likes. Thank you for that, Orlando. And of course, regular viewers would have been shocked at that first sentence, my first live stream. And then in a week, of course, Orlando's always in the live streams, pretty much. So thank you for that, Orlando. And there have been some donations in the PayPal window. There have been a few, so I want to make sure that I get to where we got to last time, and it was a donation on Sunday morning that came through from Chuck for £2. So thank you for that, Chuck. And Cindy donated £40. Thank you for that, Cindy. And the message is, hi Phil, do you think that beyond a certain point, range is an overrated quality in singing? If so, what do you think that point is, and what qualities should we be considering instead? Thanks. So thank you for that, Cindy. And I don't know whether it was Cindy or not, but I answered a message that was really similar to this at some point over the last few days, and I don't know where it was on, whether it was an email or Facebook, but it was somewhere where somebody was asking me about ranges, and I think maybe Axl Rose was mentioned, having either 4-octave or 6-octave range, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll answer this question as I answered that question, which was that most songs have a maximum of 2 octaves that the vocalist is going to cover, and sometimes it's less than that, but generally, a singer's got a great range, can cover 2 octaves and has 2 octaves worth of usable range. So when you think about all of the songs and the range that the vocalist covers, if you've got a 4-octave range or a 6-octave range, it's great to have range, but it's always potentially in that bracket of, if you start doing too much, it sounds like a novelty, or it comes across as that, and can sound a bit contrived, and like you're trying to show off how high you can sing or how low you can sing. So I think it's very difficult to do something tastefully that covers a lot of octaves, because it just almost turns into somebody showing off their range, rather than using the voice in a way that is going to be artistically credible, impactful, communicate to an audience and connect with an audience, all that kind of stuff. So I'd say range, certainly if people are thinking that it's a really important thing to have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 octaves worth of range, then I'd say yes, definitely that's an overrated quality. I would say that the most important thing about singing is singing in your range. First of all, knowing where your range is, because you've probably got an octave. You might even have 2 octaves. You might already have the range you need, but you're singing in the wrong place. And I think I explained that in the last live stream. So rather than getting into ranges all again, the second part of the message was, if so, what do you think that point is? What quality should we be considering instead? So you're singing within your own range, but once you know where you're comfortable, pitch accuracy, even though I know you can just use pitch correction nowadays and edit your vocal, but I'm thinking about people going and singing live in front of people and not recording videos for YouTube. So I'm talking about live performance. So working on pitch accuracy, that's, I'd say, the second thing to do once you've figured out where your voice is, because there's no point trying to get pitch accuracy on notes that you can't hit. So you want to start hitting notes comfortably, but getting them accurate, and you can always relate to or refer to a piano or a guitar, as long as your guitar is tuned, in order to find your placing and get that muscle memory built up to start to be able to control your vocal cords and get them to snap to what or where they should be in and around the note. And you're not going to be able to be hitting notes on lines all the time. That's pitch correction. That's a totally different thing when you see that on screen. So yeah, the greatest singers of all time never did that all the time, note after note. So that's it. Sing in your range, be accurate with your pitch, and I'd say then finally vibrato, working at hitting a pitch and holding that note and applying vibrato to it. And that's just a technique that you have to work at. And then after that, I would say when you're comfortable with those things, you can practice slides. And this is now getting into stylizations, and that's probably something that vibrato might fall in the bracket of, because some singers do sing straight and some singers just have a natural vibrato, so they're not trying to do anything, it just kind of happens. So it's not under control, but it's there. So they might not work at their vibrato, and I explained that in the last live stream as well. So having control of vibrato is great, because it's going to make your notes sing. It's going to make you sound like you are singing rather than just hitting a pitch in a voice that just doesn't sound like you're doing it. Like I've said about a Dalek, going exterminate, exterminate. It's a note that's consistent, but we don't hear that as singing. Whereas when somebody goes and they start wobbling, it now falls into a different category. We hear that differently. So that's it. But using the exterminate, it's not an official exercise. I've made it up. But this is the theory is, if you can imitate a Dalek from Doctor Who, if you've ever watched Doctor Who, they all talk on that same level. If you can do that, then you can sing, you can hit pitch, and you can maintain pitch, which is the most important thing. Because if you're maintaining that pitch, it means that you can move your exterminate, 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 exterminate into different places. So there I did I spanned an octave there with my voice, and I'm hitting notes that are hitting those. And if instead of going exterminate, if I went na and did it in what sounds like singing, just because there's a bit of vibrato on it, it's still the same noise that I made. So that's then kind of your entry into hitting pitches. And instead of saying exterminate, just substitute the words of the song in place. So anyway, once you get into vibrato, I would say is the most important stylization or technique to be able to apply and ideally control in your singing. And then after that, you've got things like runs, and slides, and it getting vocal flexibility if you want to start to move from one note to the next. Some singers just sing straight, and some, rather than going ah, they might want to go ah, 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 and 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 ah. And can you hear me now? Yes. Well, I'm assuming so. The sound has come back. So what we had there was a catastrophic failure of my USB input. So yeah, everything stopped working. So that's why I went to that other screen, because I had to unplug the camera and the interface and everything. So yeah, I've plugged that in. So there you go. That's the first time we've had that on a live stream. But I don't know how long I was silent for. And oh, Karen's just donated another $10. It looks like this is the same thing. I don't understand this. Russia's using AI Tom Cruise in fake documentary to attack Olympics because they can't compete as Russia, only as a general group. Dangerous. So thank you for that. It's not something that I've seen, but certainly the discussion about AI is an interesting one, and one that I was having today with my family and my hairdresser about, how it's just, it's evolving so quickly that I don't know how you keep control of it. And the problem is that AI could potentially just take over everything, because it's doing, it's just learning, and it's, I said to my parents that everything that we have security-wise in the world is all to do with passwords and, key codes and all these different things, that if you do enough combinations, like they say, any password or whatever, they say that it's a combination, and there's millions, if not billions, of potential combinations that you'd have to go through in order to get the right password. But AI, it can do that. It's just doing millions of calculations and doing different sequences all day, every day. So if you just leave it plugged in, whatever the password, it's eventually going, and I say eventually, it might even work it out in 10 or 20 minutes or an hour, because it's run through millions or billions of combinations until it gets the right one. And then when it gets access, what's that password for? What could it access? And I said to my parents, that, I know that there's a particular code for, setting off atomic bombs or whatever, nuclear bombs, that there's a code and it's in a safe. But what if the computer doesn't need the code in the safe because it's just gone through all of the wrong answers and it's got to the right one? And then it doesn't know what it's doing because it's not human, and it just sets all the things to launch and then just gives the code and then it sends. It literally is Terminator all over again. Or say all over again. That didn't happen in the first place. But I did see somebody say online about some people are predicting that the AI thing is basically the beginning of the end of the human race, and that's how we wipe ourselves out, because we've created something that we can't control. And the only way of controlling it will be to unplug everything in the world. But, internet is wireless now, and Bluetooth, when you search for Bluetooth, you get a list of all of the devices. So if my phone can potentially connect to all of these other devices, then surely AI can, because it's using the same technology. So yeah, scary stuff. But anyway, thank you for that donation, Karen. And Diamond Girl has donated $5, so thank you for that. And the message is awesome live stream. So thank you for the kind words. And basically my answer to Cindy, I don't know whether you could hear me or not, but I just said range isn't that important. As long as you've got an octave, work at that. You get your voice really good at singing an octave, then you'll be able to sing most songs. If you've got 2 octaves, then you'll be singing pretty much the majority of songs, every song ever. And once you've got your range, once you know where you're comfortable singing, then work at holding pitch, being accurate with that, and then vibrato. And then after that, you can put in stylizations and, things, vocal flexibility, hitting notes. Maybe you heard that, maybe you didn't. I don't know. I don't know how long. Maybe you can let me know in the live chat room. How long were we quiet for? And now I'm looking at my audio levels because that just randomly happened. It turned itself off. So we will see. Oh, Chumley says PCs don't allow repetitive attempts to enter a password, so I don't see how AI or anything else can get in a few minutes. Well, because AI changes the programming of Windows, or because AI is a computer program, so it will know how Windows works, so it will adjust. If somebody gives AI the mission, or the prompt, that's what they're called, the prompt to break into or crack a code, AI will know that it can only try that 3 times. So it will go into the operating system, it will take away that, so now it can try millions of times without then being stopped. So AI would change the operating system, or that particular part of it, because it's all ones and zeros at the end of the day. Once you know where to put the ones and the zeros of the operating system, you can make it work however you want it to work. And you can tell the operating system that nothing's changed, even though it has, because that's what AI would do. So yeah, this is it. It fundamentally changes everything. That what you think is under control, AI would have control of that, so that it's not, there's no wall that would get in the way, because it would just reprogram however it needs to then, and it's basically hacking, isn't it? And you say, right, so its first mission would be to try every single variation of hacking Windows that will then remove that limit of 3 attempts. Once that's out of the way, then they work on to the next one of trying as many times as possible. So yeah, I'm sure it'll work through as many security systems as it wants to. You know, when you've got an infinite amount of tries at trying to get something right, and you can remove the security, which that's what hacking is. You know, that's why there are so many antivirus programs, because things are always trying to get into your computer, but they're not intelligent. And that's the problem with artificial intelligence, is it is learning. So once it's failed once, it will try a different way, and it will keep trying millions of different ways until it finds kind of the hole in the net. So, oh, no pun intended, the net. Anyway, let's get back to the PayPal donation. So thank you for that, Cindy. And there's another donation that came through from Tracy for £10. So thank you for that, Tracy. And that was at 6:56 this morning. And Tracy says, "Hi Phil, you are very confident, but also humble. Were you always confident, even as a kid? Love you, Tracy." And it's Tracy N. So thank you for that, Tracy. And I wouldn't say that I was confident as a kid, but I was quite good at sports. So I think that always helps at school. When you can, beat kids at running, that you're faster than them or whatever, and then you win trophies. I think that probably helps in the popularity stakes and all that kind of stuff. And then I was captain of the football team, and all that kind of experience, I suppose, helps, especially in sport. So yeah, when I finished school, I then went into college, and then in college I did coaching. So I had different coaching badges, all that kind of stuff. So from there, I did football coaching, and I did personal training. And I think being a personal trainer is something that it gives you a lot of personal skills of being able to talk to somebody for an hour. When you're training them, getting to know somebody, and writing them out a program, keeping them motivated, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's just skills that you learn along the way. And then when I was 19, I was in a band, so it means like performing on stage, because that's something I wanted to do. So I think that, again, when you want to do something, it's not that you feel unconfident about doing it, because you want to do it. So yeah, that's something that I think I wasn't confident, I just wanted to do it. So yeah, it wasn't really a question of confidence. But I'd say that the skills that I learned from coaching, personal training, and then teaching guitar, those are things that I think help. And certainly, like anything that you do more, you get better at. Like these live streams. When I first, if you go back, I don't know how many years, like 6 years on the channel, and watch a really old live stream, it's nothing like this, because of course I've had years and years and years of getting used to organising all the stuff on screen, so that I don't have to, all of this is subconscious, like playing guitar, that when you first start, you really have to think about the chords that you're playing and your finger positions, and getting the strings nice and clean and ringing out and not buzzing. But the more you practice, the more your brain frees up space, so it doesn't use as much space. And that's the same with this. Like, I've got lots of stuff going on, but it doesn't use as much space as it used to. So I can do all of the stuff and, make it look like I'm not really doing anything when I'm actually organising everything in the background, for, the cover video and, the donations, making sure I can see that window, the audio, now that I'm checking that all the time, seeing the donations that are coming through, obviously referencing those, having an eye on that likeometer, which, by the way, we are at 365, which means we're looking for 130 more people to hit the thumbs up. So if you could do that, that would be massively appreciated. We're going for a new record tonight of 495. So yeah, it's like anything. The more you practice it, then the better you get at it, regardless of what it is. Even just doing videos on YouTube and, talking about different things. I think it's something that you naturally improve. I don't know whether everybody does improve, actually, because I'm thinking that, to my mind, if you talk to a camera a lot, you improve at that, and you don't have to stop talking as much. You don't have to think as much, because you can relay to the camera what you're saying. But I see people on TV that have been presenters for years, and the way that they present has always been the same. And sometimes it's really annoying because there's this guy on ITV, which is a TV station here in the UK, and he presents in the most frustrating way possible. And he kind of goes like this. He goes, so the Prime Minister today was, and it's like, oh, say something. Yeah, and he has a massive gap between his words, and then he says lots, but not lots, maybe 3 or 4 words. And yeah, I don't like that presenting style. Obviously, it's subjective. People might love that, but he's always done it the same way. So he's never got to the point where he's actually saying what he wants to say in an efficient way and in an effective way, so that you can get out the information you want to in the shortest possible time and it's understandable. So yeah, lots of gaps, which of course, you're waiting to hear what's, it's that typical kind of comedy approach when he says, and the one thing you should never say is, and it's like, oh, what's the one thing you should never say? And then they go to a commercial break, so you never find out. Anyway, thank you for that, Tracy. So yeah, I think confidence is something that probably you can learn a bit of, or at least interacting with people in a more confident way. Maybe I think if you jump into the deep end of coaching and personal training, being in a band, even getting up and doing something at an open mic night, all that kind of stuff, really helps. It's just practicing it. You're practicing being confident, and then in the end, I think you become confident. So anyway, thank you for that, Tracy. And Roseanne has donated £10, so thank you for that, Roseanne. And the message is, hi Phil, thanks for your videos, which are always fun and informative. I was wondering if you had a favourite Bee Gees song. Thanks again, and take care. Okay, well, the first thing that pops into my head, which probably isn't a good thing, is Massachusetts. But the only reason that jumps into my mind, I mean, for the song, first of all, but because, on a previous live stream, I said that the wrong way round, and it sounded like it shouldn't have sounded. So I always have to remember the chew of Massachusetts, and then it's fine. So I'll say that just because I'm saying it correctly. We've got Night Fever. I don't know. I wouldn't say that Night Fever is one of those songs that I always put on of the Bee Gees, but it's just one that pops in your head because of the intro, and obviously because of the movie as well, and the whole disco thing. And I think when you relate it, or you're thinking about disco, obviously the movie, is it called Saturday Night Fever? I don't know, I'm questioning it now because of Night Fever. But anyway, you don't know what it's like. That's another one. And there's another song that I'm thinking of. Oh, that is always in my head, apart from now. And I'd say it's the song that I probably, or at least the song that I sing the most. Every song, not every song, but the songs that it isn't are popping into my head. So How Deep Is Your Love? There's another one. And Nights on Broadway. That's the one. So that's the song. I don't know why that pops into my head all the time, apart from just then when I'm trying to think, what's the name of it? But yeah, so yeah, Nights on Broadway is one of those that it is always in my head, and I don't know why it is. There must be something that's melodically just stuck in my head about it, and so I'd have to go maybe with that, which isn't something that I would have thought before answering that question. But thank you for that, Roseanne. I've got to go with the one that I'm kind of hum the most. So thank you for that, Roseanne. And Tammy has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. The message is, hi, Phil. Congratulations on hitting 382,000 subscribers. Will music creators lose their jobs in the future due to AI? Rock. So thank you for that. We're talking about AI again. And I don't know. I think when people are qualified to do a job, they're qualified to do it in a particular way where they know how to get exactly what the person wants. At the moment, AI is at a point where it needs to be told what to do. And you need to be able to tell AI what you want it to do in a way that it understands. So there's lots of kind of dark areas where it might get that wrong, and it'll produce something that you think, oh no, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was this. And then it'll give you another version of what you've asked it, and then that'll still be a bit wrong. Whereas at the moment, I don't know about looking far into the future, but at the moment, humans can still produce something when other humans ask them. And it's a communication thing that AI at the moment it isn't as good at. You have to give, the keywords have to be really spot on in order to get the exact product or the exact result of whatever experiment you're doing. So yeah, I think at the moment where it's skill based from one human to the next and communication, I don't think that people are going to be losing their jobs. But you've also got in the artistic world, if we're talking about music as art, then I don't think people value AI as highly as somebody who's created it themselves. So if you listen to a song and say, this was created by AI, and then you've got another song that was created by a singer-songwriter, I think people put more artistic credibility to the singer-songwriter because they've actually done that. Now, it would be possible for a company to invent a singer-songwriter and not tell anybody that it's AI. That's always going to be something that can happen, and the abuse of that particular technology. So yeah, people are always going to abuse the technology, whether they will. I'm sure, well, there'll be lots of court cases, but this is the problem with AI. It's just moving so quickly. How do you stop something like that happening? But anyway, thank you for this donation. Debbie as well, who's donated £10. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on 382,000 subscribers. I absolutely love the Barbra Streisand analysis video. What do you think are some contributing factors to her long career? Thanks, you're awesome. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And right, it's almost midnight here, so I'm going to have to get through these questions very quickly. But also, by the way, 102 more likes to get a new record for tonight, and 101. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, that'd be massively appreciated if you could do that. And we'll have a Phil Jam at the end of this live stream. So, right, career longevity, Barbra Streisand. I would say, first of all, range is a huge part of it. And when I say that, I mean singing where you sing, not trying to sing notes that aren't in your natural range. And that's something that, Barbra has a great range anyway, but it's something that she never would be constantly belting in chest voice, for example. So the songs that she sang where she actually sung. No, in terms of her range, so she's not singing things in different keys that didn't then suit her voice. And you'll see that with all the great singers, that they'll change the key of the song to then suit their own voice. So yeah, that's something that you'll find with the greatest singers. But Barbara certainly, of course she's got the range, but it's about placing that composition where your range is, so that her high note is always going to be right at the top, where that crescendo comes in. So at the end of the song, hitting that final note. So I'd say it's a huge part of career longevity is not pushing your voice beyond its limits consistently. And I've mentioned about Julie Andrews and the way that she was performing on stage, and having to do that so regularly, singing songs that were very high for her voice. So it meant that belting in chest voice, that's the thing that's going to damage vocal cords. And when you're doing shows, I mean, it's even more difficult, because then of course, when we're talking about musical theatre and singers who do that, they've got to sing in a way that is healthy. That when you're talking about great singers, like Barbara and Julie, when they're singing songs over and over and over and over again, if it's not comfortable, you're going to do more and more and more and more damage to your vocal cords. And that's where vocal technique is really important. But sometimes, like with Julie, it was just slightly above where it should have been, really. But when you think about The Sound of Music, everybody knows the songs. I don't think people would have actually noticed if it had been taken down a semitone or a tone, but it just gets compared to the key of the original composition. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So yeah, sadly that damaged Julie's voice. But like she said, she regretted having surgery because it might have actually recovered itself. And that's the thing, that vocal cords can recover. If you give them enough vocal rest, there is a way that the nodule can decrease in size, and you might get your singing back. But it's just when you're in demand, it's very difficult to say, right, I'm now not singing for 6 months or a year. So very difficult. So anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. And there's been another donation, and this is an anonymous donation. Apart from it says the name in the donation, so thank you for this. And I'm just having a look at my phone because I just want to check. Okay, right. Because sometimes I get messages on my phone, and there's an ad trying to go through, so let's stop that. It seems like everything's going off at the same time. The reason I'm checking my phone is because sometimes the moderators, if there's a problem, send me a message, and because the sound went earlier, I thought, well, the sound's on, is there another problem, to see if there is a problem. But it wasn't anything to do with that. Getting back to this, thank you for this donation, Liz. It says, hi Phil, who would you pick if you could have dinner with 3 musicians / singers, dead or alive, assuming the dinner was free and there was no travel time? What sort of place would you choose? Much kindest, Liz. So thank you for that, Liz. And I'm going to have to speed up with these answers to the questions, but I would first of all probably go to something not too formal, like a pub / restaurant, which we have here in the UK, which is there's a bar there, you can have a drink if you want to, but then there'll be another section where you go through to seated dining. So and typically you can have well, you can have lots of things like burgers and pizza, but also, Sunday roast meals, beef, sirloin steak, all fancy stuff if you want it. So I'd go. That would be the venue. I think I've had a question exactly like this in the past. I can't remember who I chose, apart from Jimi Hendrix would have been one. So I'll pick Jimi again. Jimi Hendrix, and okay, Freddie Mercury. Let's throw Freddie in there. And just along the lines of Freddie Mercury, I would have liked to have met George Michael when he was alive, because of everything, like George's skill set. Of people didn't realise, and maybe don't realise, what he did. That he did everything. that he would sing into the microphone, and then he'd go behind the desk and he'd mix everything and he'd record everything and he'd, play keys and he'd do everything and produce and decide how much reverbs on the vocal. But he had so much input in everything that he did. I'd love to talk to him about that side of things, about production and how he EQ'd his voice and how he decided to do what he did, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I do know Shirley Lewis, who sang with George for many years, and we've had her on the channel to chat about it and analysed a song with her and George together. And yeah, that's one thing that I would have loved to have met George, and maybe if he was still around, there would have maybe been an opportunity for that to happen, maybe through Shirley. But it's just very sad that he's not around anymore. But yeah, he's one of those guys that I think people don't really appreciate how much of his music he did, even though unfortunately he got locked into not one but I think two very dodgy contracts. So he had to do so much recording that he didn't actually want to do. He wanted to get away from or get out of these different clauses in contracts, but that's the music industry, sadly. So as soon as he started with Wham, and their first record deal that they signed, they didn't make any money because, of course, they were so young. The record label knew that and knew that they would sign anything to have a record deal and do music. Whereas unfortunately, it's something that a lot of people make that mistake. They have this idealistic view of the music industry, not realizing that signing contracts is a bad idea, especially back then. But anyway, thank you for that, Liz. And Sabine has donated £20 as well, so thank you for that, and that is a straight up donation. Vera has donated £7.49. Thank you for that, Vera. And the message is: Phil, I've heard you mention the term hook in a song. What exactly is a hook? Can you explain or give me an example, please? So this is something that you'll get. You already know what a hook is. I mean literally like a hook. So in musical terms, a hook is exactly what it sounds like. So there'll be a particular melody or a particular riff that will get stuck in your head, and you might even just be walking around and you're humming it. It's hooked in your mind. It's not letting go. So it's that kind of thing that in huge hits, there will be hooks. There'll be bits that you think of. For example, Night Fever. If you think of that song, that either the first thing you think of, if you're thinking of the beginning of the song, you'll get diddle-a-dun, dun, dun, diddle-a-dun, diddle-a-dun, and you're already in the song. The hook of that opening part of the song is there, and the melody of that is there. It's in your mind. And even if you go, I was going to go, night fever, I was going to do it really high up, but that is stuck in your head. That's a melody that's hooked in there. So I mean, what you'll find with the great songs and the songs that stand the test of time and are always going to be popular are hook fests. There are hooks all over the place. And even then, when you go na na da na na, if I go na na da na 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 da na 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 na, all of these lines, you might not even know the words, but you know the phrasing, you know the melody, because the whole song is a collection of vocal hooks, instrumental hooks, melodic hooks hitting notes that go a particular way. Even phrasing like that, going na 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 na. You remember the cadence of it. So yeah, that's it. Hooks are all over the place in the greatest hits of all time. That's what makes them hits, is they get stuck in your head. And sadly, that's what makes non-hits non-hits, because you can hear a song and you can't really remember any of it. Whereas when you hear a song once and then you can already repeat a melody from it, that's got hooked in your head. So I mean, hopefully that's giving you an idea of an example of it. just to take night fever and have a bit of a BG sound going on. But anyway, thank you for that, Vera. Robert has donated £13.67. So thank you for that, Robert. And that is a straight up donation. And then Robert's donated again at £7.49. So thank you again. If that's a mistake, don't worry about that. We can get that refunded and sorted out after the live stream. Don't worry about that. Thank you for that, Robert. And Lynn has donated £56.17. Thank you for that, Lynn. The message is, Phil, in your analysis of Barbra Streisand's 13-year-old voice, her voice sounded very different to me than her adult voice. Do female voices undergo changes similar to male voices at some point during adolescence? So thank you for that, Lynn. Generally, it's a lot less dramatic, but the female voice in the teenage years and getting into late teens and early 20s, then becoming a woman rather than a girl. So going through those processes, and it's not as dramatic as going through that same change for guys, where their voice suddenly goes oh, and starts breaking and going all over the place. For female voices, females generally always use predominantly their head voice. They're not really used to going down low, so it means that when they're singing, they're using their head voice all the time. So then when they go from already talking in their head voice, and this is what's different to men, is that we talk in our chest voice, so it's quite a low sound, but there will be notes that we hit that are in our head voice that are higher up, which I was just doing a second ago with Night Fever. So in order to access those notes, we have to do something different. We're not just using the same voice, and this is where I'd go back to, singing within your range, but even down here, this would be quite low for me to sing if I was singing in around this place. Generally, I tend to sing a bit higher, and I think most guys do that with their voice. They push a little bit higher, just naturally. So, you have to start doing things differently, but women have always used that part of their voice. So you don't have that dramatic change of suddenly losing an octave because you've now become a man and gone through all of those changes and testosterone, all that kind of stuff. But there will be changes in the female voice. And I would say that in general, they're still using the same part of their voice, but they might get a little bit more body in the sound. And obviously with age, as the voice improves with practice and use, you can start to get even like a smoky quality to the voice, because it's always adapting and becoming better at doing what you're asking it to do. So that's just another thing, just time and practice and being more accurate that way. So yes, they do change, but it is hugely more subtle than guys. So but generally you'll be able to hear, even singing the same notes, if you're not looking at the singer, you will be able to tell that it sounds almost like a girl's voice rather than a woman's voice, or a child's voice. When a kid is singing, or a child is singing, you can hear that, it sounds like a child's voice. And a lot of that is to do with pitch, because like I said in that video, young singers don't have really accurate pitch, apart from nowadays because they're using pitch correction. But back in the day, Barbra Streisand at 13 years of age, she didn't have those tools didn't exist. So she was really accurate for a kid, and this is why you can sometimes get a kid who is young who sounds older than they are, because they've got a more developed tone, and that's just their natural tone of being a child, but they are accurate pitch-wise. They have that one thing that the adults have of being able to hit these notes really on the button and have control of vibrato. That's another huge part. But let's get away from doing a whole nother analysis videos on young singers versus old singers. But thank you for that. And Liz has donated £10. Elizabeth, thank you for that. The message is, but in order to change the OS to eliminate the limit on the number of attempts to log in, it would first have to log in to do that. So thank you for that, Liz. And no, the operating system, as soon as you press on the computer, the operating system starts. So it goes through all of its lines of code in order to then show you on screen, the Windows login, for example. So as soon as you turn that on, if AI is already connected to that computer, it will just be editing the lines of code as the computer starts, before you see anything. We don't see what's going on with the computer on the screen when it's going on, because that's lines of code in the background that are all running. And once it's been through all of those lines of code, like starting a computer in safe mode, for example, that's something that you can do that is all before the operating system started. So when you have a problem with your computer, you might have a virus, you start it in safe mode, which means you've got into the code of the programs and how they're running in order to then show you the login screen. So AI would change the code in the beginning part so that when you get to seeing the screen, it's already been changed. So what we're seeing is the result of code. It would change the code to begin with. And it might not even need to show anything on screen because it does it all in the code. The bit that we see is for humans to understand it so that we can see what's going on. So anyway, thank you for that, Liz. Orlando has donated £5. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, Jennifer Lopez recently has to cancel a concert tour because of lagging ticket sales. She is the only one called J-Lo. How can an icon go from selling out arenas and stadiums to cancelling an entire tour? Any insight? So thank you for that. And it's 2 minutes past midnight. Right. I'm going to have to really rush through everything now because we've got the... where are we? Oh, we're quite far off with the likes. If you could hit that thumbs up, that'd be great. I don't think we're going to make it for tonight because I have been answering lots of questions. But yeah, 495 was the target in order to get a new record. But we have been on quite a run of getting new records on Tuesday. So thank you guys for making that happen. And yeah, we're still looking for, what's that? It's like 58 more people maybe to hit the thumbs up. So, so about J-Lo, I don't know the reason for that other than generally what happens is they book the tour, they book everything in advance, so they might book X amount of arenas or stadiums, and then once they're booked, it's now too late. You can't change venues. So once they find that, we're not going to sell out these arenas or stadiums, and not only that, we're not going to break even from actually hiring these places, then they have to cancel all of those and say, right, no, we're not going to do it, to kind of save their money rather than obviously making millions of pounds worth or dollars worth of losses. So that's the thing. That's why you would cancel it. So I think in the future, I mean, and J-Lo, I think, I don't know whether she's... In the UK, I wouldn't say that she's a huge singer. I think people maybe know her for acting and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know how popular she is over in the USA. Well, obviously not really popular or popular enough for this particular tour. So that's it. That's why they will cancel, is because of just overestimating the demand and then being in too deep. They're in the deep end and think, we've got to pull out here, to not lose millions. So what they should do really is, and I like it when popular artists do smaller shows, but obviously then the record label say, but we're not going to earn enough money, but you're going to sell out. So just give people what they want and be realistic about the venue sizes. Obviously they overestimated it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with just doing some really nice venues that might just be a few thousand people, because generally those kinds of venues are more comfortable as well. Like some have seating, more like here in the UK where you have, maybe all standing on the floor, but then you have a couple of tiers and people can sit there. So I like the more intimate setting of gigs anyway. So I'd have said that. But that's why you would cancel a whole tour, is booking venues that are too big for the demand, and then realise that you're not going to break even. So you've got to get out of there before it gets too far or goes too far. So thank you for that. And Janice has donated £50. Thank you for that, Janice. The message is, somebody said that according to the YouTube algorithm, the number of subscribers is the least important number. More important is views, comments, and likes. Do you know if this is true? So thank you for that, Janice. And no, I don't buy into that at all, because when I had 1,500 subscribers for 10 years, views didn't increase, comments didn't increase, likes didn't increase. Even though technically you might have 1,500 people who might see your videos, just nothing happened. So as soon as I had a video that lots of people watched and people started subscribing, i.e. saying I want to see more of this, then things started taking off. So yeah, it doesn't make sense that people could watch a video, like it, and leave a comment, and then never return to that channel. Why YouTube would think that's a good thing. Whereas if somebody watches a video and thinks, I want to see more of this, so I'm going to subscribe, for YouTube that means that they've now got that person's attention for future videos. And that's now confirmed, rather than them not subscribing and not being bothered about. You're basically saying, I liked that video, but I don't want to see any more in the future. I'm not too bothered about it. So yeah, for me, subscribers is I would say the most important thing and the hardest thing to get. Because anybody can make a video and get, thumbs up and some comments, but somebody saying, I want to see more of your videos is a huge thing. And I think it's a huge thing. And that's why every 1,000 subscribers, I announce it, because 1,000 people is a hell of a lot of people to say, yes, I like this. I want to see more of what you're doing. So yeah, I think whoever's making that comment doesn't necessarily know, or at least it's certainly not my experience at all. So anyway, thank you for these donations in the super chat window as well. We're going to jump into the cover for tonight because we're almost at the end of the live stream. So we'll jump into this. And I mean, the fill jam for tonight would have been like over 7 minutes. So it would have been too long probably anyway. And we're still 45 away from hitting that thumbs up. But I guess maybe we could make it, but I don't know. It would take one hell of a spike of the likes. So we're going to be looking at The Boys Are Back in Town. That's the cover that has won for tonight. So Parisian Walkways fails again, but one day we will get there. So this is my version, of course. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock!
Boys are back in town.
And there we have it. Now, I was trying to time the end of that video. Was that at the end of the song? It looked like it was, because I've got no sound, so I couldn't hear that. So I was watching my guitar playing, and I'm assuming from what I was playing that we were at the end of the song and that it was the multiple parts being put on top of each other, like harmonizing. So maybe that was at the right time. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. So, and I think at the end of that video, because I go through, because that was a video from YouTube, and then go through the patron list and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Laura says, close enough for rock. Wings of Pegasus. So thank you for that. And let me just skip the ads there that wanted to come in. Right, so we're within 26, so we almost made it to the Lights goal for tonight. And let me just quickly get through the donations on PayPal, because Juliet donated £30, so thank you for that, Juliet. And the message is, will you promise to wear your secretly most favourite t-shirt on your next live stream? Rock. So thank you for that. And I don't really rate t-shirts in, most favourite or worst. I guess maybe most comfortable, warmest versus coolest for different temperatures. But I mean, I do quite like the t-shirts of, like Back to the Future and, the Goonies and kind of 80s movies. I like all those kinds of t-shirts. But I like this t-shirt, Wings of Pegasus, obviously. So, yeah, if you want to get your hands on any of the merch, as I've already said, tray underneath this particular video. Right, donations in the Super Chat window as well. Liz donated $20. Thank you for that. And this is Liz is 5th Super Chat donation. So thank you for that, Liz. And the message is Soprano here and direct cousin to Maurice Ravel. Love your channel, Phil. So thank you for that, Liz. And Orlando donated $10, and Orlando said, in the 1940s through the 1990s, you really had to peddle music to clubs and radio stations. Now we have social media, and anyone in the world can share their music. Is that a fair statement? So yeah, it is literally a statement. So there's nothing kind of fair or unfair about it. And something that I will say is that now, yeah, anybody can get their music out on the internet, but that means that it is now a ridiculously more competitive marketplace, because now everyone in the world is competing against everybody else in the world for everybody else's in the world attention. So this is the problem, that yeah, it is so difficult now for anyone to get their music heard en masse, because everyone's trying to get their music heard en masse. You don't have to get it on the radio, and this is the other thing, that yeah, artists had to go out and they had to gig and hopefully get spotted or approach record labels and do a lot of work of going around, traveling around, trying to get your name and your band and your brand out there. But doing that has become easier, but the problem is that yeah, it's now, talk about an oversaturated marketplace, because you say, right, I want to be a musician, or I want to be in a band and be an artist. And say, yeah, but so does your next door neighbour, and so does the house down from that, and so does the house down from that, and keep going around the world. And now everyone, as long as you've got an internet connection, and you can get the software cheaply now as well, and you can learn to do everything yourself. So yeah, if you've got the will, everybody is competing against everybody else. So yeah, it's very difficult, but I still think that it's the thing that never changes is putting in the work. If you outwork anybody in either of these scenarios, like whether you're going through the 1940s through to the 1990s, if you outwork everybody else, you will be more successful. And it's the same for online. If you outwork everybody else, and that's, I guess, my sports background of having a competitive nature. If I was ever not doing something to try and get to where I wanted to be, I would think somebody else is doing it. They're not having a break, or they're sleeping for less hours, or when they get home from work, they have their dinner and then they get back to working on what they want to do. So I always thought about that any spare time I had, I would be doing something. And you spend years focusing on lots of things that don't work, but eventually you get the right thing that allows you to do what you want to do. So very important, I think. Right, so what happens if we hit the likes goal at the end of the live stream? This might have to be okay. Quick. Totoro Porco has donated $2 and says AI will never be able to reproduce Phil's hair. So thank you for that. It did a good attempt, I think, on one of the pictures that we saw. And Totoro Porco said that again. And then Vicky donated $5 and it's the lemon dancing. So thank you for that. Denise donated $20 and says you are amazing. That's Denise's third donation in the super chat window, because there's a big number 3. Thank you for that. David donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, David. The message is, hi Phil, I just wanted to say thank you. You certainly have a great channel. Thank you for that, David. And Orlando donated $2 again. Says we will hit the goal next time. Bye all. So thank you for that. And we've hit the goal. We've hit 95. So it is a new record officially for tonight's live stream. We've gone 3 minutes over the normal ending. Now the thing is, we usually end at 15:15 because of the moderators that are here, and it means that they're kind of staying up late, because in the UK it's 18 minutes past midnight. But we could just be moderatorless and hopefully nobody notices until the end of the live stream. In fact, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to jump into the Phil Jam. I've turned on that, done that. This is going to be I was going to say a quick Phil Jam, but this is like 7 minutes, so I don't know what it's going to sound like levels wise. Skip the advert. Right, this is smooth jazz fusion backing track. Then bracket B minor, 112 beats per minute, end bracket, and right, I've got to pick which is good. And this is from Slowhan Records, SLOHAN Records in capital letters on YouTube. So let's jump into this. And I didn't even see which guitar it is. We're going with the this is going to be fine. Fender Strat for smooth jazz fusion. Let's get into it because this is 7 minutes. So, oh no, yes! I thought I didn't have sound there. Okay, a bit funky here. Okay, let's start what, clean? Oh, can't hear the backing track. Oh, that's annoying. Right, let me maybe copy that. Could you just hear my guitar there? So maybe just me playing some guitar and nothing else. So let me, maybe this is just destined not to work. We might be able to save this one for next time. I'm going to close that. I'm going to open up another window. Where's the window opened? I can't see it on any of my screens. Right, then do that. Do that. Okay, it's now all over the place. Oh, the lycometer's gone. I can hear it and I can see that I think it's coming through. Can you hear this? Okay, I think we're back. this. Bit heavy. We're buffering there. Oh, that's the end! I thought we went... Well, yeah, it was 7... Oh, well, that's the kind of thing that happens when you're hit with a chord, or it just randomly changes, And it's a chord that is nothing to do with anything that you're playing. So yeah, I mean that's a good example of jazz at the end there, that you've got to know that something's going to happen in order to play. But we don't know. That's the point, and that's the fun of playing along, not knowing where it's going. But that was relatively okay to follow along with. I think it cut out at some point with that. I saw the circle going on, so yeah, apologies for that, but it is what it is. We've had some gremlins tonight, unfortunately, with all stopping and then had to start it all over again. So that was the Fill Jam for tonight. Smooth Jazz Fusion / backing track BM 112 BPM from Slowhand Records. Check that out if you guys want to jam along to it. And now you know there's a random ending. This suddenly happened. So thank you guys for tuning in. And there have been some other donations. Sister Tenacious donated $5, so thank you for that. And the message is Phil Jam, awesome. So thank you. Diamond Girl donated $2 and said, yes, we got our Phil Jam. Thank you for that. Orlando donated $2 and said, thank you, Phil, and everyone, goodbye for real. So, yes, we're going to be calling it to a close now because, yeah, we're way past the end of the live stream. So all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Thank you for joining me tonight and ensuring that we got a new record for a Tuesday night. It was better late than never. And I'll be here with another live stream on Saturday night, 11 PM Greenwich Mean Time, as always. And I'll be here with another video, of course, for you guys tomorrow night. So, yeah, have a great rest of your week. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Rock!